clinical depression, mental illnesses, and mental health care in the Philippines. Depression is a serious mental disease, and it's distinct to think that 1. Depression is shrouded in a lot of myths and stigmas that people keep on believing them. People with depression will not get the help they need in the long run. And number 2, mental health care in the Philippines is generally underrated. Let us now discuss what is depression and what is not depression. Some people even think that it's not a legitimate disease, but the truth of the matter is, it is a true physical illness that affects both the mind and the body and has both biological and genetic causes. They have a higher amount of stress hormones in their bodies. That's why one of the symptoms of depression is that they feel tired without even knowing why. Second, the brain of depressed people have shown decreased activity. So, on the left side of the illustration, that's how the brain of normal people works, but as for the case of the depressed, it's like this. Yeah, so let me scatter the ink, so la 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 la. Something like that. So, in other words, it's not exactly normal. Another myth is that people think it's just normal sadness. But come on, it's not gonna be labeled as a medical condition had it been just normal. Yes, people feel sad when something tragic happens, like someone they love died, but that kind of sadness only lasts up to 2 days and a maximum of 2 weeks. But if it exceeds that time, something must be wrong. For example, here in the illustration, the guy says that it's just the blues. It's normal to feel sad sometimes. Yes, it's true. But the girl says, I've been feeling sad since 6 months ago. So if it exceeds 2 weeks, something must be wrong with you. So if you're in the same situation as this girl, I believe that you must immediately consult a psychologist, or even better, a psychiatrist. Another myth about depression is that some people think it's self-pity. It's like you're only insecure, you just have inferiority complex. You're sorry for yourself. Come on, snap out of it. Get out of your shell, and come on, join me in a confidence-boosting self-development seminar, and everything will be fine. But actually, that's not always the case, because did you know that many genius people in history have actually suffered from depression? And I don't think that they feel sorry for themselves, because if they're that successful, lol, I don't think insecurity will help them. So here in the illustration, guy on the right says, stop the self-pity, come on. And guy on the left says, I'm class top 1 in an Ivy League university. Actually, researchers have came to a conclusion that anxiety and depression are directly linked with creativity. An example of this is Sylvia Plath, a world-renowned poet known for her awesome writing style, who suffered from depression and committed suicide. So if you feel like dying today, if you have suicidal tendencies, and come on, don't kill yourself. You might be a genius. Yeah, trust me. Another lie people believe about depression is that it's just inside your head. You're just thinking negatively, and come on, just look at the brighter side of life. Just snap out of it. But can depressed people have the ability to snap out of it? It's like saying that people with cancer chose to have cancer. In the same sense, people with depression did not choose to be depressed. Because, one of the causes of depression is hormonal imbalance, and hormonal imbalance changes the chemistry inside your brain, and there's a gland in your body which fails to produce endorphins, which are the happy hormones of our body, and they help us process the happy moments of our life. And it's the endorphins which makes us feel elated. But if you have depression, you lack endorphins, and even if the event is generally happy, your brain just cannot process it. Like, okay, I'm very very happy. My boyfriend gave me uh my boyfriend gave me a bunch of roses, but I'm not happy simply because my brain cannot process it. Yeah, I'm not joking. And yes, depression roughly means like this. I didn't choose to be depressed. The depressed life chose me. So, I guess it's pretty similar to destiny or fate. And people also tend to think that depression is because of a bad situation. Well, it's true that depression may stem from a major stressor, but that's not always the case because, look, girl on the right side says she doesn't know why she was depressed because I stated earlier that one of the causes of depression is hormonal changes, and sometimes it just attacks you like for no reason at all. Yeah, I wanted to die for no reason at all. That's how depression sucks. So, what are the causes of depression? Number one is it's psychological, meaning the victim has undergone a lot of major stresses in his or her life. Like, for example, he or she was a victim of domestic abuse, he or she got raped, or that person has a lot of debt in the bank, and anything similar that's so distressful, which eventually led to a change in the chemistry in his brain. Number two, it's genetic, like your mother probably had it too, or your grandmother, so you just inherited it. And number three is that it's hormonal, like there's gland in your body that's malfunctioning. For example, if you have problems with your thyroid, chances are you're likely to have depression too. The big deal here is that there's a major chemical changes inside your brain, so whatever it causes, it must be treated. And there are two kinds of treatment for depression. That is, one, psychotherapy, and number two is using antidepressants. Some Most of the time, it's best if you use both methods, but it depends on your situation. Like, if the cause of your depression is purely biological, then maybe psychotherapy won't be needed, but sometimes antidepressants are not enough, so it depends. It's the best to consult your psychiatrist about the matter. So, what are the symptoms of depression? One symptom is that, like shown in the picture, you don't feel like doing anything. Well, this is different from laziness because some people like being lazy because it's pleasurable. But depressed people don't find pleasure in laziness. Well, this is how they feel most of the time. Like, they're afraid to get out of bed. But at the same time, they feel remorseful because they aren't productive. So it really sucks. Like, whatever you do, there's always this feeling of guilt and anger. And it's just, please remove the stigma that they're just being lazy because they're afflicted. The brain is afflicted. That's why they can't just do anything about it, And another thing is lack of interest in things. Like, for example, a person with depression could be someone who used to love math or poetry or something, but because they got afflicted with a disease, they just lose interest. So here, the guy here really loved math before, but because he got depressed, math became boring. And of course, recurring thoughts of suicide. In fact, 2/3 of suicide is directly linked to depression. And of course, you think negatively, nihilistic thoughts enter your brain, and of course, they wanted to die because it's probably the only solution you could think of. And like I mentioned earlier, it's feeling sad for no reason at all. However, did you know that only 5% of the national budget of Philippine healthcare is invested in mental health? And the other 95% are for surgical operations and physical diseases. Okay, they are important, but mental health care is also important because if Filipinos remain under the curse of depression, they will not be able to function as productive citizens of the country, and it will affect the nation as a whole. So the government must increase the budget on mental health care. We really need this. And another thing is, there's only 490 psychiatrists for 100 million Filipinos. They're really, really few. And because of this, treatment for depression became painfully expensive. It can reach up to 13,000 pesos per month. And what about the poor Filipino people who have depression? It's not true that it's only a rich man's disease. Even poor people can be affected by depression, and they need help. It's not just laziness or drama or something. It is a true disease that needs serious attention. The truth of the matter is, Senator Lauren Lagarde has already signed the bill for the mental health care of the Filipinos, but it's not yet a law. So I just hope that it gets passed so that people who suffer from mental illnesses will be helped. And I hope that the next president of the Philippines will take this issue seriously because it's a really serious matter. And I'm not gonna expect that the problems that PH mental health care faces will be immediately solved, because come on, we only have 490 psychiatrists and the budget is really lacking. But the first step that we must do is to be stigma free. Let us be educated enough so that we can know what is depression and what is not depression. It may be that you already have depression, but you have nowhere to go because you believe in those stigmas. In that way, we can help ourselves. We can be free if we know what is true and what is not true.